Hello my friends and welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner. Today I have a really exciting video for you, and it's because Gameloft have released some of the very first screenshots, high quality screenshots might I add, that we've seen of the Storybook Vale since the showcase. Now, these are a part of the press pack that Gameloft sends out for media and stuff like that, so they are public, these are not leaks, you can find these yourselves on the Gameloft website, or on the Dreamlight Valley website I should say. So there's nothing in terms of spoilers here, though there are a couple of new details that I wanted to point out, so I think my plan is to go through each screenshot one by one, we'll talk about what we see, and we'll call out all of the new details and speculate on what they could mean for this upcoming expansion. Without wasting too much more time, let's just get straight into the video and talk about what we see in these new images. All right, so the first screenshot that we see in this press pack is a avatar that we are playing with in game using the new Royal tool, which is the Royal Net. They're obviously stood next to Merida, who is coming to the game as well, and they appear to be catching one of these new snippets. Now, this is one of the origami critters, which are not actually critters that are coming to the game. There's a whole storyline in and of itself with those to do with the Lawkeeper and what we provide in terms of getting tapestries and things like that. So that's what this screenshot is kind of showing off. The one thing that I did want to point out is this hairstyle. This does appear to be a new hairstyle. I would take a guess and say that it's just obviously inspired by Merida, because those big bouncy curls, they're pretty much the same, but we're obviously seeing it in a brown colorway instead. Now, I'm really excited to get this, even though I don't really play with the female avatars that often, because we're always in need of new hairstyles, and it's just quite a different hairstyle for the game, considering what we have already. This one has a lot of volume, and it is obviously, like I said, inspired by Merida, so it's nice to see her getting a little nod as well in terms of her own sort of style and clothing that we can play with the avatar. That's really nice. And we do generally just get a bit of a better look at the bind here, considering this is a Super HQ screenshot. We can obviously see Scrooge's just over here on the left. I will be interested to see how they integrate the theming of both Scrooge's and Remy's into each biome, because they did say that they would adapt to the biomes that they're in. So it will be interesting to see if these two buildings actually end up with their own adaptable house skins for Ever After and Mythopia as well. I am very interested to see if that comes to fruition. There doesn't appear to be a great deal more new information in this one. We get a little glimpse of Goofy's stall just over here. I do believe that we already have these pants in the game, and I think that we have these trainers as well, but it is nice to get a better look at the Royal tool. Obviously this net, I also find it interesting that sometimes this net is actually down in terms of like actually looking like a net, and sometimes it's just completely flat. So I wonder if there's some sort of animation or something that triggers when you catch a snippet that it actually turns into a net because the snippet is like in it. I don't know. That's going out on a limb, but we'll find out very soon. However, it is just nice to get another look at the bind and this really big structure and building in the middle and things like that. I do wonder how difficult the bind is going to be to decorate, because it doesn't actually look like it has a lot of floor plan or like space available to decorate with. So we'll just have to see how it turns out. A lot of it does seem to be taken up with like bookcases and hills, and obviously this really big structure. So we'll just have to wait and see. But other than that, really excited to get this new hairstyle. This is a lot of fun. And like I said, I really enjoy that Merida is getting a little nod of her own in the player customization as well. In screenshot number 2, we do appear to be having some sort of interaction with the Lawkeeper. Now, the Lawkeeper is saying, Stephanie, where has your story taken you and what have you uncovered? I'm really excited to get to know the Lawkeeper a little better and get a better sense of the personality that's going to come with it. I'm also interested to know if there's going to be a voice actor that's playing some sort of role with this magical book. I think that it's the perfect opportunity for someone to come in and kind of like make the role their own, especially because it does seem to have so much personality, especially with this branch that we've already seen animated and sort of turning the pages and stuff like that. However, in terms of new content, we have already seen this Lawkeeper a number of times. It has been in most of the promotional material. So the only other thing in the screenshot that is pretty much new is this dress that we see over here. Now, I believe that this is the dress that we saw in Scrooge's store from that very first trailer that we got for the DLC. I retract that. It wasn't the first trailer. I just remembered it was in the opening of the showcase for the DLC. So yeah, it was in Scrooge's window and it was next to the Raya outfit, I believe. So it does seem as though this is some sort of new outfit. I really like this. I love the cream. There's like little details on the dress as well that are kind of like in a floral swirly pattern. And a lot of the new outfits actually, even the ones that are included in the bonus of the DLC, the special founders or initial players version, where you get the 3 different outfits if you play within a certain amount of time. They were all kind of leaning into this like academia style, which blends really well with this bind biome. You can see that they're wearing like the satchel on their back. They've got kind of like the little hat on. We do have those earrings in game already. But yeah, on the whole, this outfit is really cute. I like it. I think a lot of players are going to love this one. It's going to go perfectly with any sort of dream snaps that require us to sort of dress up in a cozy academian kind of way. I don't know if those dream snap themes will come, but regardless, this will be handy for a lot of future dream snaps. And I think a lot of players are going to love this one. Moving on over to this side, we do see one of the new critters. Now, this is one of the owls that are going to be coming with the bind biome. We have already seen the owls before. We've seen a purple version of the owl, but I think this one is super adorable. I did think that we would be getting sort of like a quote-unquote regular color, so this brown, again, matches with the vibe of the bind, and it just kind of adds to that cohesiveness of the color palette and the general vibe that Gameloft are going for with this DLC. As I said in my breakdown video, it is very cohesive. There's a lot going on that sort of matches and everything ties in together, so they've done a great job with the critters and the environment itself. I really love how it's all coming together and starting to turn out. I'm very excited to see this in person. All right, moving on to the third screenshot, and we see an avatar again here holding the new royal tool. That is obviously going to be a feature heavily in the DLC, and they do seem to want to be promoting that, which is nice. I'm interested to see how they apply the previous tool skins to this roll tool and what we're going to get, especially in ones like the villain set and stuff like that. However, the avatar here is having some sort of conversation with Hades in front of Mount Olympus. Again, I've complimented this so much, but this is over in Mythopia, and the detail that they've put into this biome, and I discussed at length weenies in my Disney details video, which is kind of what Walt Disney used in reference to points of interest, and I complimented again how well Gameloft have kind of implemented those points of interest and those wayfinding points in the map. So I think that Mount Olympus looks fantastic. Obviously, the brand new thing in this screenshot in particular is this outfit on the avatar. I think this looks fantastic. I don't know about you, but I think the whole thing just looks really, really good. I'm going to go out on a limb. Well, it's not much of a limb. I'm going to go out and say that this is probably a friendship reward for Hades. I mean, the blue of his hair kind of matches the blue of this outfit pretty perfectly, I would say. So it wouldn't surprise me if this was some sort of level 10 outfit that we get for interacting with Hades and completing his quests. It's really exciting to get new outfits in the game because we kind of run out of clothes when you get to a certain point. So getting something new and as detailed as this is really fun. And it does make me wonder what the quests are going to be like for Hades. Is it going to be that we're going to have to sort of like become his own personal bodyguard? I don't know. Some sort of trainer? Is he going to train us up to fight? That's kind of what it gives a little bit with the vibe, especially with like the armored plates and stuff like that. However, on the whole, it is a really strong outfit, and I can probably see the male outfit being exactly the same as this, to be honest. I think that they're going to do a unisex outfit for this friendship reward, if that is indeed what this turns out to be. I would say that might only gripe, which is not really that much of a gripe, is I wish Hades was just a little bit taller. I kind of wish that his head was like kind of up here instead. I just think that he can be such an imposing figure, and having him a little taller than the character rather than sort of eyeline would just bring that across just a little bit more. But on the whole, I actually think Hades' character looks really cool. I think they did a great job with his face, with his hair, and from the animations that we saw in the trailer, he seems to be really well animated as well. So on the whole, very excited to get him, and I'm extremely excited to sort of visit this biome and take a better look around because it is unlike anything that we have in the game at the moment. You can see a lot of the new trees here. You can see a lot of the new flora. We've got these bushes back here, which are the pink and green ones that we see at the front. We've got like cypress trees in all different colors. These ones do actually have orange pieces on them, so I don't know if these are going to be collectible or if maybe they're a foraging item. But you can also see the yellow trees and stuff like that in the background. And like I said, on the whole, this is just a really cool looking biome. So I can't wait to get into this and to interact with Hades and see what he has to bring to the game. Now, this fourth screenshot is one that brings a lot of mystery, mostly because of what we see here. And obviously this is pretty new. We spotted it, or at least a couple of players spotted something to do with this from the very first trailers that we got. It was spotted in the bind, and it was just up on the left, sort of like in the main central hub. There doesn't seem to be any consensus on what this is actually going to do yet. It looks quite mechanical. I mean, there's some cogs down here that we can see. There's obviously like some sort of turning element or turning mechanism And I suspect that we're probably going to have to interact with it in some way. I just don't know how yet. If this was the only screenshot that we had of this particular instrument, whatever it does turn out to be, I would think that, okay, it's probably to do with the trials, because this is the same background from the showcase where they sort of talk about the trials and they talk about what we need to do, and this outfit, which is obviously new as well. It kind of reminds me of the Dreamlight armor that we got. But in the trailer, there are 3 of these on the pedestal, and 2 of them have flags and 1 didn't have a helmet on it, which is obviously now seems to be what we will be collecting. Perhaps if we complete the trials or something like that, or maybe we'll even get the helmet. I don't know. But I do actually really like this outfit. I think it looks cool. It does kind of look like a reskin of the Dreamlight armor, but I'm not mad at it. I like the little like green and purple touches on the left and right. They kind of remind me of Maleficent, so I wonder if they are related to that, or perhaps whether the trials are related to Maleficent in any way. But I do wonder whether this sort of like, I'm calling it a time turner. It's not really. I mean, that's kind of like from Harry Potter. However, it does seem as though it's some sort of turning mechanism that's going to maybe unlock or allow us to enter somewhere different. And I'm going to go ahead and suggest, because it's in this backdrop and because it's in this environment, that it's going to be something to do with the trials, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's not long to go now, so I'm very excited to work out what this could be. If you have any ideas what you think it might be, especially with these mechanical elements, then just let me know in the comments and we'll see if your predictions come true. Before I finish up with this screenshot, I do just want to touch on Flynn. I think he looks really good. I think his character model looks great. I love that he's got the really big, wide shoulders with the tiny little waist. I think he turned out really well, and I think that Gameloft have done a great job with him. So it'll be really fun to see how his little sort of storyline goes together, and whatever storyline we get to bring him and Rapunzel back together if you have a Rift in Time DLC as well. Finally, the 5th screenshot in the press kit is this screenshot that we have of Ever After, and it's a little selfie that the character is taking with Flynn and Merida. There isn't a great deal of new stuff in this one. We do get a bit of a better look at these sort of ferns, these blue ferns. I love these. I think I'm going to be using these quite a lot. I think that they're really interesting. The shape is really interesting on them, and they're going to go really well with all of the new mushrooms that we see over here. But sticking with this structure, we know this is some sort of gazebo. They are using a lot of gazebos lately, so they're bringing them to the DLC as well. I love that there's a little like open storybook embellishing this stonework. I think that is a really fun touch. And we know that the Mythopia one kind of blends with the Mythopia biome as well. So this one kind of blends with Ever After, which I really like. However, the main thing that I want to touch on, and the main thing environmentally that's new with this one, is we actually see something in this gazebo for the first time. And it does appear to be some sort of portal or some sort of orb that is very, very similar to the Forgotten one that we have in the plaza just by the entrance of the Dream Castle. I am a little confused as to what this could be. I mean, obviously it's a portal, so it's going to take us somewhere. Where it takes us, I don't know. How it takes us, I don't know. How it interacts or intertwines with the story or the base game remains to be seen. Something that is interesting to me, and something that I wanted to point out, is one of the mods over on the Dreamlight Leaks Discord. Shout out to them. I will put a link in the description. Did notice that the reflection in this orb, I will zoom in so you can take a better look at it, that the reflection in this orb does appear to be the cave up in the Frosted Heights. If we actually come on up to the Frosted Heights, you can see that this is the room that I think is reflected in the orb. You can see that the stonework kind of blends in with the wooden floor, and it does have the writing on the wall as well, which is very similar. But if we come over here to this section, you will see that this orb that I'm walking up to right now seems to be the exact one that they've taken and placed into that screenshot. So make of that what you will. It does seem as though they're kind of reusing an element, I guess, because honestly, it does look exactly the same. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that they're just reusing one of the orbs. I do think that this gazebo is going to have some sort of orb or some sort of functionality. In terms of the actual reflection that we see at the moment, I think that maybe Gameloft have just lifted the orb from the cave and then plopped it into this gazebo for the sake of the screenshot. I don't think that's out of the question. It depends on when these screenshots were created and how far along they were in the game process. Perhaps they knew what they wanted to put in, but it wasn't just quite done yet. So they thought, we'll just reuse one of the orbs that we already have. So I don't want to speculate too heavily that this is going to be related to the Frosted Heights in any way, because it just doesn't really make any sense. But it was something that I just wanted to point out as a just in case. You know, it might have some bearing on the game, it might have some reference to the DLC, I don't really know, but it was something interesting of note, just in case. Finally, we do get a look at another new outfit, this time on the male avatar. We see him dressed in it here. Now again, I suspect that this is probably a friendship reward, either for Flynn or Merida, because when you look at these, they actually all kind of are wearing the same tone of blue. The brown elements on Flynn's are a little bit warmer than the ones we have on this player avatar, so it could be one for Merida and it could be one for Flynn, but again, I really like the look of this. I think the detailing is really cool. It's another outfit that has like a lot of layers to it, which is nice, because when you have like different layers and textures, it just adds a bit of depth and a bit of interest to whatever you're wearing. So I will be excited to see where this outfit comes from and whether it comes from Flynn, Merida, or perhaps even Scrooge's store, but I'm leaning towards probably a friendship reward for one of these two. All right, gang, that is it. That is your first look at some brand new gameplay screenshots from Disney Dreamlight Valley, the Storybook Vale. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Which part are you most excited to see? Are you looking forward to meeting Merida and Flynn, or are you looking forward to exploring all of the new environments that we have? And what do you think that this new portal could do, and the new time turner? There are two new functionalities that we seem to see in these screenshots that we hadn't seen in the showcase, which is very exciting. So let me know in the comments what you think those are for. If you enjoyed this video and you do enjoy my Disney Dreamlight Valley content, then feel free to give me a like, a subscribe, and come and join our cozy corner of the internet. It would be a pleasure to have you along for the ride. With all that being said, I will catch you in the next one, and I will, of course, see you in the valley.